Ok, voilà, donc on va tester à la manette. On lance What Remains of Edith Finch. Un petit jeu que je voulais faire. Un petit jeu que je voulais faire, bien sympa, paraît-il. Et qui va être retiré du Game Pass PC. Un Game Pass tout court même, dans l'idée, je pense. What Remains of Edith Finch. Ok, donc là on arrive ici. On va faire une nouvelle... Merde, j'aurais pas dû peut-être toucher à ça. Non, c'est bon. Alors, commande. Ok, bon, de toute façon là on est avec la manette, hein, du coup. Ça paraît quand même plus simple pour jouer. Non, attends, fais pas n'importe quoi. Nouvelle partie, oui. On part sur une nouvelle partie. Bon, ça on l'a déjà vu. J'en conviens. Ok, let's go. Alors. D'accord, là c'est la caméra. Pour avancer, comment on s'y prend avec la manette? Non mais c'est... C'est particulier. Ah oui, non, je peux pas avancer, c'est pour ça. Je l'ai fait tout à l'heure, pourtant. Mais merde, je suis trop con. Ok, alors. Bon. D'accord.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Let's go. Donc là, voilà, je peux avancer avec le stick, ça c'est bien. Là je zoome. Là je zoome. Ok. D'accord, là c'est pour rentrer dans le
I
menu.
lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms. Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately. I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral. In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know, or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Alors oui, j'étais déjà passé par là tout à l'heure, mais je vais refaire la même chose. Hein. Je peux passer par en bas, mais à mon avis, c'est peut-être pas le bon chemin alors. Par contre, a priori... Putain, non, ça c'est... Oui, c'est normal, c'est les raccourcis. A priori, on peut pas courir. Non.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
Alors, je sais pas, elle voit... Ah, c'est là, ces traces de sabots, peut-être, non, je sais même pas. C'est assez sombre, par contre. Un joli cerf. Ok.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Quelle belle maison.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
Là, il y a même quoi aller s'amuser, là. Ok.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
C'est pas là que ça va aller mieux. Hein.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Bon, elle a 17 ans. Ok. Gary's Potting Mix. Micromax. C'est intéressant de lire ce qu'il y a sur les emballages, n'est-ce pas? Nutrients for healthy plants. Ok.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't. Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Ok, donc on est d'accord, on peut pas passer par devant, donc c'est sûrement pour passer par derrière. Sans envie d'un jeu de mots. Qu'on puisse pas courir, c'est bon. Je pense que ça peut vite devenir un peu casse-couille, quoi. Non? J'aimerais bien qu'on puisse courir quand même pour se déplacer, non? Ok, donc on peut passer par là. C'est les poubelles. Bizarre le son qu'on entend, non? Mais ça vient de là, hein, de toute façon.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
D'accord. Bon bah ok, hein.
The power had been turned off the night we left. For the first time in years, I felt like I was home. But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Edith, Eddie, Down, Lewis. Lewis, d'accord, donc lui il est décédé. Ok, bon.
Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly. Or how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
Ils sont partis comme ça, ils ont tout laissé en vrac. Bon. Peut-être déjà aller là-bas avant.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture. Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
N'empêche, moi le premier truc qui m'intéresse c'est la télé. C'est quoi comme télé? Toker. Alors. Ouh. Il y a de la lecture. Bon, on voit bien que c'est juste des écritures plaquées comme ça sur les bouquins. Bon, après, ça fait le taf. Et le mec qui est là, en train de critiquer. Au secours. Oui, je peux rentrer là, ça j'ai vu.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night. My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Lewis Milton, ça. C'est vachement bien foutu, je trouve, le système de sous-titrage. Franchement, rien à dire. Quoi? Ouais, ça, heureusement qu'il faut faire la manette, autrement tu pètes un câble, je
Great
crois.
Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house. Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Ok, bon. Ça, j'y suis pas allé là. Je peux pas. Bah oui, non, c'est un placard, de toute façon, merci. D'accord. Il y a tout le matériel nécessaire en cas de problème.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Ça, j'y vais peut-être après, du coup.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Annapurna Finch.
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
Putain, la cave à vin ici, là, tranquille. Ah, ok. Avant d'aller là-bas, je vais peut-être aller là, alors. Eh bien non. Enfin, il n'y a rien à y faire, dirons-nous. Oui, on va monter là. Par contre, ouais, attends, c'est relou, parce que ici, je sais pas, si on risque de louper quelque chose ou quoi. C'est la question un peu que je me pose. Donc je vais quand même aller là avant.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
Ouais, j'ai bien fait, je crois. Enfin bon, après, je sais pas si c'est capital.
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Avec sa petite clé là. Elle l'a récupérée où encore la clé? Je sais même pas.
Turns out,
Je sais même plus.
my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door.
Putain, mais vas-y.
Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead. I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole.
Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting. I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here, before my mom sealed the doors.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen.
C'est grand français.
It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Ben ça. Ah non, parce que c'était des croissants. Vas-y.
I kept eating and eating.
C'est quoi ça? C'est dentifrice?
I ate a lot of things that night.
Putain. Qu'est-ce que je suis en train de faire avec cette gamine là? Elle bouffe n'importe quoi la filleotte. Qu'est-ce que j'ai pas compris? Oui là. La nourriture pour
The
Gerby, bah
gerbil food
vas-y,
is
allez.
dry, but I didn't mind it. come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Bon. Je vais me coucher ou bien bah les
Then
couilles.
I heard chirping outside my window. It was a
J'ai
barn
me fait un
swallow
piaf.
going back to her nest.
Ok.
I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
Ouais. Comment je fais là? Ah oui, d'accord, simplement. Hein.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared. I jumped and I almost got her.
Mais qu'est-ce que j'ai? Qu'est-ce que je dois faire là? Putain, mais quel goloyo! Eh, vas-y, Yoshko, là, tu nous fais quoi? Ouais, vas-y, je suis en total désespoir.
I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree.
Et elle est où?
I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
Je sais pas où elle est. Eh, dis donc. Excusez-moi, je suis trop con pour faire ce jeu encore aussi. Après, je m'étonne que j'y arrive pas à Warzone, moi. Enfin, en même temps. Peut-être là qu'il faut que j'aille, non? Du coup. Je sais pas du tout où est la bestiole, hein. Faut bien le savoir. Alors là, j'en ai aucune idée. Elle est là-bas, hein, c'est sûr. Là, c'est de là que je viens. Ok. Putain. D'accord, en fait, faudrait que je reste appuyé longtemps pour...
I gobbled her up.
Elle a eu le temps de... Putain, ouais, mais qu'est-ce qui
And
m'énerve?
suddenly, I was an owl.
Une chouette, ah ouais, d'accord.
First,
Il a eu le temps de se reposer, le piaf.
Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
Qu'est-ce qui grignote dans l'herbe?
Rabbits.
Des lapins. D'accord. Des lapins. C'est pas si simple que ça, cette affaire.
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger.
Un plus gros. Bon.
a mama rabbit.
On commence à y arriver là, hein.
She was almost
Mais
too
qu'il est
big to
content.
carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Ouais, mais là t'es pas au bon endroit, hein. Frérot.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
C'est quoi ce délire? Il est barré le jeu en fait, hein.
I wanted fat, juicy seals.
Je voulais des phoques bien gras. Ouais, enfin là je me suis fait niquer. Oh là là, putain. Mais non. T'es sérieux là? Ouais. Ça c'est pas fait super
Tore
super
off
bien.
her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Ouais, on voit le sang en plus. Hein. Pourquoi je peux pas descendre? D'accord, c'est avec ça. Franchement, il est pas simple à gérer. Il est vraiment pas simple à gérer le bâtard. Après, oui, d'accord.
Grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water.
J'avais tellement faim.
When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
Waouh. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ce
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Attendez pas à ça, je crois que j'allais aller dessus. Non. Plutôt aller là.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't. After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
Dans sa direction. En fait, je suis plus fait. Ouais, je devrais plutôt me mettre de l'autre côté, je pense. Je vais me foutre là-bas plutôt. Hop. C'est bon. Net, let's go.
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe. I got closer and closer.
Bon. Tu t'es approché pour aller où, petite? Non. Putain. Je peux pas y aller? Ah, c'était là, en fait. J'ai pas vu tout à
All
l'heure.
my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Ok.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Ok, je fais quoi maintenant? Putain, il y a des moments, je me dis c'est moi qui suis con, c'est pas possible. Bah oui, c'est très certainement ça. Hein.
I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
Ouais, bah ça, tentacule comme ça, c'est... Hop là. Donc il y a des parties de Molly qui étaient encore ici, manifestement. Mais quoi donc? D'accord. Ok.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories.
Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
On veut pas savoir
We
pourquoi.
got
hein.
along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom.
D'accord. Ça va là.
Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune.
Je suppose que c'est la même chose là, donc on arrête après. Ok. Bon.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't. Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Ouais, c'est peut-être un peu exagéré là, non?
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace. There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
C'est très sympa. Hein?
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Il y a quelques effets. C'est sympa, c'est sympa.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin, and that he never talked about him.
Non, non, mais attends. Je vais d'abord aller là-haut, du coup, parce que je crois que je suis allé un peu plus vite que la musique. Mais bon.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I want to remember my brother. by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
Ah, tu joues encore, là, très bien. On est sur une balançoire en fait là, ok.
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Calvin, dinner's ready.
Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up,
Putain, ça fait...
then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Oh putain. D'accord, en fait il va se
The day
tuer
he
en...
made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Spawné par Superman. Wow.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing. After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again. The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
D'accord.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up, a has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue.
Thank you.
She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
En train de jouer en même temps, là.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
En fait, on est en train de jouer, là. C'est plutôt sympa.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Oh!
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Oula.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played played her part beautifully. She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Par où je descends maintenant? Oui.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... Someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box was all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Ok, elle est bien bonne, l'histoire.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Ok. Ah non, d'accord, oui. Non, non, attends, t'excites pas. Oui, enfin, ma faute, je sais, mais... Regarde bien si je peux plus rien faire ici. Bon, bah écoute, manifestement non. Donc on retourne là-bas.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box. It's funny. all those times I played with the music box and never found the basement key.
Toujours pas. Je sais pas si je dois retourner là-bas. Hein. Là, je suis déjà allé, donc normalement... Bah ouais, faut que je retourne là-bas, j'ai pas le choix. Hein. Non, mais qui que le porte avec ça?
I wonder if that comic was right about there being a key inside the music box near the basement.
Dans la boîte à musique près du sous-sol. Ah. Mais non, c'est encore... Alors ça, c'est quand même incroyable que... Pourquoi ça reste tout le temps, sérieux, ça? Ah, d'accord.
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johann. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
D'accord.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Ah non, c'est de là où je viens, ok. Bah oui, mais c'est bien de là où je viens, oui, effectivement. Je peux... A priori...
Maybe I should go check out that music box down by the basement.
Ok. Je peux quand même passer par là, on est d'accord. Bon. Bon, j'ai bien compris qu'elle veut que j'aille voir la boîte à musique. Hein. Comment ça va? T'es sérieux? Je peux pas passer par là? Ok. Bon, bah, de toute façon, après, je pouvais descendre les escaliers là-bas, c'est vrai. Donc il faut que je repasse par
If I
là-bas.
keep winding the music box, maybe a key will pop out like it did in the comic book. From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
C'est dans la bande dessinée aussi, parce qu'après... Là c'est pareil, je peux pas descendre, hein. De toute façon j'ai pas la possibilité de me barrer. Je sais pas en fait. Non, a priori non. Donc ça serait... Oh là. Quand tu vois que j'arrive déjà à être paumé dans un jeu comme celui-ci, au secours. Enfin paumé non, c'est quand même un grand mot, mais... Voilà. C'est ici, hein. Bah oui, oui, c'est forcément ici, du coup. Voilà, donc c'est dans le sous-sol. Ici. C'est comme dans la bande dessinée, effectivement. Alors, il n'y a qu'une chose que j'ai... Je suis pas encore allé à l'étage, et j'aimerais bien quand même aller voir à l'étage avant. Parce que je pense que j'aurais pu facilement y aller, du coup. Alors peut-être qu'il va me dire que justement, je ne peux pas y aller.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Voilà. Au moins comme ça, je le sais.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Ça, oui. C'est sûr que bon. Pour une petite
I
fille,
saw
c'est pas
Edie
terrible.
sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
Putain, mais on voit rien aussi. On ne voit rien du tout, hein.
I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
On voit même les écritures qui réfléchissent sur les murs, c'est sympa. Bon, par contre, franchement, quand je dis qu'on voit rien, c'est pas pour rien. Hein. Ouais.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week
Jour à midi, il
now,
bouffe la même chose.
the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can. I know it's out there, somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Ok, bon, on va se faire une petite pause. Après tant de
I'm sure my mom
rebondissements.
was trying to protect me.
Je vais rentrer là-dedans du coup. Il n'y avait rien d'autre à voir en fait, hein, parce que... Je ne dirais pas.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
Ça donne envie de continuer. Hein. C'est vrai que...
But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive.
Ouais, rien du tout. Parce que c'est normal. Ok.
Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Tu peux pas sauter là.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family.
C'est assez scripté, hein, du coup, mais tant mieux.
And the history you're a part of. Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth. And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible. I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault. Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Molly Finch. Donc elle avait 10 ans. Calvin Finch, il avait 11 ans. Sven Finch, oh, il y a plus là, hein. 25, 35, 45, 55, 60, bon, il avait 49 ans. Edith Finch, 1917 à 2010, waouh. Il avait 93 ans là, c'est ça. Elle avait plutôt. Walter Finch, 52 à 05, bon ben, 3, 4, 5, 55 ans. Ça, hein. Barbara Finch, 44 à 60, 54, 60, 54, 16 ans. Bien, bien, bien. D'accord, on peut encore avancer
I'm sure
là-bas.
Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Ok.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant. I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
Ok, bon, petite pause ici, tranquillement. Ok, nous revoici donc pour poursuivre cette magnifique aventure. Très sympa le jeu, hein. Bon. Un jeu au demeurant très sympa.
Pretty intense.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
Shouldn't we be leaving?
Just want to get a shot of you, Dawn, then we can take off.
I'm over here, Dad.
Just need to get a shot of you, Dawn, then we can hit the road.
En fait, il faut que je prenne tout en photo, non? On assure de faire la mise au point. Ouais, non, mais c'est pas possible, hein. Franchement, je suis encore... Ah, ben non, c'est ça qu'il faut que je prenne en photo.
What?
Oh là 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 là.
Perfect.
Putain, le cotorep. Le temps que je comprenne.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it?
Qui c'est qui... D'accord, c'est une voiture qui passe. D'accord, ici il y a ça.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. The camera's older than you are.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Aw. Still freezing, though.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hold still while I take a picture of you.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Don, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
Putain.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time. Give me a minute to check the map.
Oh. Check a map. Non, je sais pas en fait. Mais où est-ce qu'il pêchait là?
Let's see. Maybe. Or was it?
Là, il y a des cannes à pêche, ok.
Could have been.
Et franchement, je sais pas, je comprends pas bien ce que je suis censé faire là.
Dad!
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Now keep yourself squared up, elbows down, like we practiced. Whenever you're ready. Great shot, Don!
Qu'est-ce que tu veux que je fasse là?
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
so...
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
D'accord. Il était pas mort en fait. Enfin bon. Il s'est débattu une dernière fois pour
Of all
l'envoyer.
these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
D'accord. Sympa, hein? Allez, vas-y, sauvegarde, ma foi, sauvegarde.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something. After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it.
Oh, un petit canard. D'accord, je suis un bébé là.
The rest of us don't.
Gregory, it's time to... Hold on, sweetie.
Whoa.
Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like.
Oh, je suis bon à ça. Oh merde.
He reminded me so much of Cal. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw. It sure made him happy.
Oh. C'est vraiment bien foutu, hein.
I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
Mais non. D'accord.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw. There's so much I don't understand.
Il va se noyer.
About Gregory.
Putain.
About everything.
Ça c'était l'aime ou quoi?
But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay.
Ouais.
Love, Sam.
Merde. Faut avoir le moral un petit peu quand même avant de jouer à ce jeu, hein. Ouais, c'est sûr qu'il a pas fait long feu, lui, hein. Bon. Alors,
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Par quoi là au juste? D'accord.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Oh.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
D'accord.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Ok, ok.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
Ah ouais. Et à chaque fois elle rentrait comme ça,
At the time,
en faisant
it was
l'escalade.
as far away as she could get.
Putain. Faut être bourré ou mal réveillé, hein, je te dis pas.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
C'est un Asiate, alors.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English.
Okay.
Louis was born a year later.
On peut monter, on peut descendre, mais je
When
pense
my dad died,
Okay.
I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Au moins, elle grimpe à la corde, elle. Ça va, tranquille. Ok.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush. I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Ouais, mais lui, on sait pas trop pourquoi, en fait, dans l'idée. Enfin, je sais pas, j'ai pas compris. Il a inventé une porte. Bon.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Bah attends, je pouvais descendre, non, par contre. Ah mais non, je pouvais pas. Allez, vas-y. C'est bien ce que... Merde. Ok, j'ai plus qu'à faire le tour. Je suis vénère. Tout que pour rappel, on peut toujours pas courir.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself.
Belle vue sur la mer, hein, quand même.
After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
Ok. Je qu'allumé de la paix, toi. Le chicha qui est là-dedans.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Ouais. Legalize marijuana. Legalize marijuana. Bon, on est d'accord que... Non, non, non. Je voulais juste regarder derrière. Putain. Ouais. On est d'accord que lui... Enfin, que... Ouais, ce qu'elle sent, en fait, on sait ce que c'est.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Ça ressemble clairement à une PlayStation plus qu'à une Xbox. Hein. On voit le parti pris. Par contre, la manette, c'est plus du Nintendo. Enfin, c'est plus Nintendo, en fait, ouais, dans l'idée. Avec le port cartouche, oui, qu'est-ce que dis-je?
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to...
Oh non. Non, ouais, tu peux pas lui faire couper la main, c'est pas ça le délire. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire? Ah.
Wander.
Bah. Commencer à s'égarer. D'accord?
I asked him to describe it.
D'accord.
He said he started small. Imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Louis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor, and he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a
beau prince d'une belle reine,
handsome queen, the queen was on her own quest for radiant rainbows.
Je l'ai fait tranquille. Merde.
He followed the sound of her
Sa guitare électrique là quand même.
electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
Aller en quoi? Je sais pas.
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Putain, je sais pas ce qu'ils prennent, mais j'en veux un. C'est du sang, hein, quand même, ça. Hein. On est d'accord, hein. Pourquoi il y a du sang? Oh, ça c'est mon casier. Ouais, oui, oui. Non, bon.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
C'est du sang de poisson. D'accord.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Il n'aime pas son taf, quoi. Finch. Qu'est-ce qu'il va lui faire, n'est-ce pas, Lewis Finch, du coup? Comme son surmoi ne le supporte plus. Je peux pas. Je peux monter là, ça on est d'accord.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him.
Vous avez une sale gueule, les mecs. Hein.
His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
On s'y croit, hein?
Bend down his head.
C'est une guillotine quand même, le bordel, là. T'es sûr de ça, là?
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Ok. Putain.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Il a 22 ans. Ouais. Bon. Sauvegarde donc. Sauvegarde donc. On peut pas prendre une chutelette là? Non. Mais on peut passer par là. Sachant que c'est par là qu'on est rentré en fait. Mais en plus je voulais pas re-rentrer là. Hein. Il y a des moments je me dis waouh.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral,
my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
Alors.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
C'est plutôt à l'aise.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance.
Ouais, tu vois. Ah oui, en fait, c'est pas là. Faut... Ah bah
Or
oui.
that Edie had a key to it.
Oh, mais c'est pas possible. Faut vraiment insister comme un bourrin pour passer, en fait.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out.
C'est moi la mariée là?
It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life.
J'ai cru voir mariée, mais en fait c'est la marée. Genre, j'étais choqué là.
When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them.
Maybe.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go.
Ah bah,
I
ça me l'a
kicked and
déchiré.
screamed, but
J'ai
Mom
rué.
dragged me to the car. I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
Ah bah oui,
The
parce
next
que
morning, the van
c'était
came
plein la
to
gueule.
pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it.
C'est marrant. Bon, qu'est-ce qu'il faut que je fasse encore en
A
fait?
few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't.
Ouais, ça donne le moral de ouf
And then
ça.
I was alone. The last Finch left alive.
La dernière Finch en vie, ouais, putain. J'ai vu comment ça
Until I
part.
found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you.
Bah, je peux avancer en fait, d'accord.
But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Mais c'est fort hein, quand même. C'est vrai que c'est pas mal. Hein. C'est court, mais franchement c'est terriblement efficace. C'est une petite expérience qui vaut le coup d'être vécue rapidement. Après évidemment tant qu'il était gratuit sur le Game Pass, il n'y avait pas trop de questions à se poser. Bon, je pense qu'en cherchant bien, ça doit se trouver à quelques euros ce jeu-là. Hein. Très très belle expérience. C'est validé pour ma part. Je sais pas si c'est les vraies photos des mecs. C'est très probable. Hein. Histoire de délirer un peu. Par contre, je vois les ombres qui apparaissent après dans les cadres. Bon, pas tout. Si, voilà. Ou non, c'est parce qu'elle se plie en fait. Non, je sais pas, c'est chelou. Non, même pas. Ouais, c'est bien étant plus petit. Hein. Plus jeunes devront nous dire. Tout dépend des photos. Il a une bonne bouille, lui, Alvin Nelson, producteur. Hein. C'est marrant de voir leur gueule étant gamin. Ben Esposito. Giancarlo Esposito, ça me fait penser. Annapurna Interactive. Mais qui sont ces gens? Très très sympa.